All right, so let's just take a look at the final project. So we see that we have our app open up over here. We've got a username, a password, submit button, nice little Azure background going, says welcome to the game. Now what happens when I type in a past username and password? So if I say Tom and password Tom and I click on submit, we see welcome to the game Tom. All right, so our state is properly updated. We see it's Tom's move. And we see a game of Connect 4. And if I check on the terminal over here, we see that we have our React running the client side on one tab, and we have on the other tab, if we take a look, we see that we have a MongoDB database connection established. So we're connected to a full stack database. We're saving users to the database. We've got Tom saved into the database. I can actually check my dev tools on Chrome. We see that the user was saved to the database. We have a status OK, 200, so we're receiving proper coding messages. And then we can play this game Connect 4. So we see it's when the color is blue, it's blue's turn. When the color is red, it's red's turn or Tom's turn. And what happens when Tom wins the game? Well, when Tom wins the game, Tom won, and we get a little bit of a fun little animation. All right, so this is what we're building. This is full stack development, and we're building this entire game with what? Well, we're building it with our ChatGPT. We're going into our ChatGPT and we're asking it questions. We're getting we're getting answers. We're asking it to write code. We're asking it to debug. We're asking it to understand code. We're asking it to set up our database to go through it step by step. So this course is really going to show you how to build a full stack app with server code, with client code, step by step with our favorite robot friend. Now this tool is fantastic. This can up your game. Look, it's just another tool. It's an amazing tool, but is it a valuable tool? Yes, it's very, very valuable, especially if you want to proof through your code, if you're looking to build architecture, if you're not sure what to do, if you want to save time. It's an added plus in addition to Stack Overflow, in addition to Google and searching, in addition to using your mind. These are what tools are for. Can this 10, 20, 30x your productivity as a developer? 100%. It 100% can. And we're going to see that throughout this course. So I just wanted to pump you up. So I just wanted to get you a little bit stoked, before we get rolling, show you what we're doing. It's going to be really fun. I hope you're as excited as I am to get going. Okay, that being said, let's get started, and we're going to get started from the very beginning, step by step. So we've got a fun adventure ahead of us. I hope you're ready. Get some coffee ready. I love coffee. I love drinking coffee. It makes me feel, there's nothing like a great cup of coffee in coding. So do whatever you need to do to get psyched, and whenever you're ready, I'll see you on our journey in the next video. Okay, see you there. Bye-bye. All right, welcome to the beginning of our journey of learning how to code with ChatGPT. Now, as I said before, ChatGPT doesn't replace everything in your life. It's not going to make you coffee. It's not going to deliver you all the code by the click of one button. But what it can do is it can optimize your performance, and it can improve the overall productivity of your coding, especially if you're beginner, intermediate level. And even for advanced coders, because I think it's going to code faster than most advanced coders, and it provides updated solutions. It can provide solutions as functional-based components. It could use React hooks. If you're working with React, it's going to know what it means. It can use Contacts API. It can tell you the steps to migrate from one framework into another. So really, it doesn't matter what your level is. You can take a look at what it's doing. You can pinpoint its weaknesses. You can improve it, just like you can take a look at Stack Overflow examples, Google. I don't care what level you're at. If you're building technologies, you don't know everything all the time. If you do, that's a weakness, in my opinion. Or you're just maybe a little bit too jaded and maybe a little bit too fixed in your ways of thinking how things should be. That's my opinion. All that being said, we're going to be rebuilding this code from scratch of this game. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this game, because that would be cheating if we just start at the end of the course, right? We don't want to cheat. So I'm going to close my terminal. We're going to say goodbye to the game. Bye to the game. Goodbye. Let's quit Chrome for now. And the first thing you want to do is you want to go to openai.com. All right, now I'm already there, but when you do that, you want to put that into your browser and you want to log in. Now, if you don't have an account, you just make an account. Once you make an account, you're going to log in. You're going to get to a very basic dashboard. And it's very easy to make an account. You just put your name and your email. So pause the video, get that, and log in until you see that you're on this dashboard. So pause the video. I'll drink some fantastic coffee, and let's continue. So you should have logged into ChatGPT. All you do is put your username, your email, and you sign up. I think you can even sign in with Google. They have a Google auth, which is great. And you're going to see this. Now, you're not going to see all of these different chats, but let's just go through what the dashboard is. This new chat is where we talk to ChatGPT. So how does ChatGPT work? Well, this is a machine learning model. So it processes and understands sequential data. So that just means natural language text. You can chat to it. You can ask ChatGPT anything. And it works very similar to a human brain. It uses interconnected neurons that can learn to identify patterns in data and then make predictions about what should come. So it's based originally on a model for machine learning. And it's okay, you don't have to know how machine learning works, just like you don't need to know how wireless works and setting up internet cables around the world to use the internet, right? All you have to know is what it is and why it's valuable and use it for the value that you need to use it for, all right? But what this does, it may look very simple, but don't be deceived. That's the point. ChatGPT is capable of generating text in a wide range of styles using a large language model. So it's a combination of supervised learning and reinforcement learning. But it's the reinforcement learning component that makes it unique. It uses human feedback in the training loop to minimize harmful, untruthful, or biased outputs. So let's just start off with an example. What if we want to ask ChatGPT a question? So I'm going to ask ChatGPT a question. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be even code related. I just want to show you how this works. So we can say, is drinking coffee healthy every day? Right? And ask a question. So we're getting an answer. There's no definitive answer to this question. This is quite a vague question, as the effects of coffee on the body can vary depending on the individual. And this is quite truthful, right? It doesn't sound like it's BS. It sounds fairly truthful. Some research suggests that drinking coffee in moderation can have various health benefits, such as improving mental alertness, physical performance, as well as reducing the risk of certain. So, fantastic. So that's an answer. Now, what I want you to do is just pause the video and come up with your own question. It could be anything you want. Ask it a question and then see how the answer is. And then ask yourself, based on that answer, is this a biased or unbiased answer? That's really the important thing, because that's what we're talking about, that reinforcement loop that it's using. Well, the point is that the reinforcement learning fine-tunes ChatGPT in order to minimize untruthful or biased outputs, or things that could also be potentially harmful. I mean, that's the analysis from the creators, algorithms, and machine learning inputs. So pause the video, give it a run, and then ask yourself, is this an unbiased? And you should see that it is, no matter what the answer is going to be, it will not be harmful, nor will it be biased. And that's the real genius there. And I promise after that, we can start looking at our code. Okay, great stuff. Ask a question, post your questions and the answers in our Discord. I'd be very curious to see what you're asking and what the output is. And let's get a discussion going about ChatGPT and what the future holds for it for the internet. This is revolutionary stuff. So let's get some conversation going. I'll see you in the next lesson for more fun. Okay, bye-bye. All right, so hopefully you had some interesting questions and responses from ChatGPT. I'm sure you could have asked it all sorts of anything, whatever it is, and hopefully the answers that you found were interesting. Maybe you had certain specific questions about, well, can you drink rainwater? I don't know, whatever you asked is whatever you asked. But hopefully the key is more clear understanding of how this is working under the hood and why these responses are powerful, just by some basic interaction. All right, so what are we doing here? Well, we want to build a full stack application, all right? So if we want to build a full stack application, and I'm going to go through this course under the assumption that you have no coding experience, okay? However, I'm not going to hold your hand like you're a beginner, because we also have intermediate and experts that take my courses. So we're going to move at a pace that's intermediate and expert level. However, I'm not going to assume that you have that coding capacity. So you would know, for example, higher order architecture like right away. Well, I'm going to use Express and Node to do my server stuff and passport authentication, because that's a good implementation because you already have that kind of experience. I'm going to assume that you don't know what those things are, but I'm going to go through it at a very apt pace, which is going to further demonstrate the power of ChatGPT throughout this course for you. If you want to build an application and all you have is the internet, Google, Stack Overflow, and ChatGPT, is it possible? That's the question. Can you produce quality applications? I'm going to show you in this course that the answer is absolutely. You can, and I'm going to show you the steps involved in order to do that. So let's start off by asking a very vague question. So I'm going to start with the first question. What are the best frameworks and technologies to use? All right, I can make this bigger. What are the best frameworks and technologies to use with JavaScript? Because we're going to focus on JavaScript for this coding course since it's the most popular language in the world for making applications. All right. So what are the best frameworks and technologies to use with JavaScript in order to build a full stack application? All right, so let's hit enter. And by the way, full stack means back end and front end, right? It's the full stack of technology. All right, so let's hit enter and let's see what our computer friend will tell us. All right, there are many frameworks and technologies you can use with JavaScript to build a full stack application. So we got front end, React, all right, a JavaScript library. Amazing, my favorite. That's what we're going to be using. All right, Angular is great too. Vue is super great. Backend, we got Node.js, Express. Okay, perfect. Database, Mongo, MySQL, two excellent options. Mongo is amazing because it's a NoSQL database that uses JSON-like documents. So super powerful and free to use. So we're going to use that. So it's worth noting that these are just a few examples. So it's adding that to its response. But take a look. All we did, imagine you have no understanding how to make an application. You have a little bit of knowledge, just a little bit of knowledge in the tech space. You know what JavaScript is. You know, maybe you understand that you need to have multiple parts to build an application. You ask a question from a blog. Maybe you read full stack. Or not, you didn't even have to. You could just say, what are the best technologies? You didn't even have to say frameworks. But look what ChatGPT responds. What is this? This is architecture. This is higher order architecture to build what we need. You could have no understanding how to do this, and you could be YouTubing and spending time Googling and Stack Overflow, or you could literally ask one sentence and we're getting the full map here. Front end, React, and with multiple options. We could do React, we could do Angular, we could do Vue, we could do Node, Express on the back, Mongo, MySQL, and these are fantastic options that can, a lot of job opportunities, high demand for these. So very cool. All right, so using this solution, because this is how we're going to build this, this is how we're going to build the code. We're building all this code step by step together with ChatGPT. So after this course, you can go off on your own with ChatGPT and feel more confident building your code or increase your productivity the way that you're doing it. So let's stop here, and then in the next video, let's take a look at this as a solution to formulate our next question for ChatGPT. I'll see you there. Bye-bye. All right, so we asked ChatGPT, what are the best technologies to use to build an app? And we get this answer, all right? Now, I'm using the same chat thread. You see how you have these different chat threads here? This is entitled Drinking Coffee Health. Of course, you could rename it. Let's go ahead and rename this Build an App. There you go. All right. Now, depending on how you want to organize your questions, you can create a new chat to separate the logic, or you could keep things in the same chat. It's really up to you. The benefit in keeping it in the same chat is, of course, it's organized, so you can go up and down and take a look at the script as you develop the interactions. And then, of course, referencing. You can reference the code. You can reference what you're doing previously. So just follow along for now. All right, so let's move on to the next question. So based on the technologies it suggested, I'm going to ask it a question. I'm going to say how to write a full stack React app, right? We're going to choose React, all right? I can even uppercase it, of the game Connect 4, because that's what we want to do, right? We're going to build a game, Connect 4. We want with username and password, and then we can say the app should also keep track of the username and password in the database. using, and which one? Let's go with MongoDB. All right, very great, very, very great technology using MongoDB. So let's ask it this question and let's build our code based on the response. All right, so we're starting to get a response. So here's an outline of the steps you could follow in order to create a full stack React app for the Game Connect 4 with username and password authentication using MongoDB for the database. Wow, let's take a look. Number 1, set up your development environment by installing Node.js. Okay, super powerful. So a package manager such as NPM and a code editor such as Visual Studio Code. All right, amazing. Create a new project directory, initialize a package JSON. That's fantastic. So it is actually giving fantastic steps here. Install the necessary dependencies. We're going to need React, right? Express, MongoDB. Set up your Express server to handle requests. And it's okay if you're not sure what these mean. I'm going to go over them at an apt pace. But for you, because you're new, if you are new and you don't know what these are and you're asking, is this really good? I'm going to tell you, yes, this is fantastic. Connect to your MongoDB database and the Mongoose library. Mongoose really helps for MongoDB connections. Set up routes for user authentication is going to be important, especially we're going to include routes for creating, validating user accounts. We're going to want to create a React client for the Game Connect 4. This could include creating a component for the game board and writing the logic for playing the game. Amazing. Integrate your React client with your Express server by setting up HTTP requests for creating and validating user accounts. Test your full stack app to ensure that it's functioning as expected. So it's telling us right here, even after it gives us these steps, which are all fantastic steps in order to go about it, that it's just a general outline. Because remember, its learning algorithm, its learning model is to be unbiased. So it's saying, there are many details and additional considerations involved in these steps, so it would be a good idea to do some further research. Also, very true. ChatGPT is not a good idea to do everything. You need to use your brain. It's like thinking, I have a calculator. I don't need to ever think about my calculations anymore. No, the calculator is going to help you get to the results. ChatGPT is going to help you to get to the results way, way faster. That's the power here. And that's what I want to show you. All right. But these steps are very, very good. All right. So let's stop here. And in the next lesson, let's go through anything that you're not sure here. And then the video following that, let's actually start to build it out. Let's start to build it out. So if you're ready to know what all this stuff is, you can, of course, skip over. But if not, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. All right, so we asked our ChatGPT how to write a full stack React app based off of the suggestions, right? And we want this Game Connect 4, and then not only did it tell us, what's possible, it actually gives us the steps in order to do it. Now, you might be looking at all this stuff, and what you could do is you could stop and for your homework, ask ChatGPT each question that you don't understand. What's React? What's Express? What's MongoDB? And that works. But I also want you to remember, don't just rely on one reference. ChatGPT is amazing. It's always a good practice to use multiple tools. So, you're going to have multiple tools in this course. I am, of course, one of those tools. I mean, that's why you're taking this course, because I can actually expedite your understanding of ChatGPT so that you're not just sitting there asking questions, not being sure and checking videos or whatever. So humans are not totally obsolete just yet. Right? I'm one tool, ChatGPT is another tool, and then of course, Google is another tool. Stack Overflow is another tool. So let's start off here by thinking, all right, so what if we don't know what Node.js is? Well, I'm a tool, so let me tell you. Sounds so bad, I'm a tool. So Node.js is basically, it's JavaScript. Basically JavaScript, it was forked off of JavaScript. It's just built on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine, and then you can run it on the terminal. So if you open up your terminal, and let's do that because we're going to have our terminal open, I can actually, now that I have Node installed, I can go ahead and type in Node, and it will say welcome to Node. And now I have JavaScript. I could say console.log, hello, and we get hello. I can say let x equal 4, and then what's x? X is 4. All right, so this is JavaScript. Let is ES6, instantiating a variable. The data type is going to be implicitly assigned with the equal sign over here to an integer. That's going to be signed integer of 4. All right, this all happens under the hood with JavaScript. It's a fantastic language. We have also a string over here. We use console logs to check our logging. fantastic. All right. If you're unsure of any of this, well, we're going to go through it in this course, but then I also recommend you take my full JavaScript course because ChatGPT is amazing, but if you don't understand coding, you don't practice, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. You're going to be at a huge disadvantage. So it's important to practice, understand all that stuff. So I would appreciate the support as well. If you enjoy my teaching style, you're going to love my JavaScript course because it's focused on just practicing. We just give you practical examples. You test the examples, we go through multiple solutions, and we get you ready for coding interviews. We also get you ready for understanding how to write big applications. All right, so that's what Node is. Now, how do you get Node? Well, if you want to figure out how to get Node, you can say, how do I download Node.js? We can ask it in the ChatGPT. Let's go ahead and ask it. How do I download Node.js? To download and install Node.js on your computer, follow these steps. Go to the official Node.js website. So you want to go to nodejs.org, click on the download button on the homepage. All right. Select the version of Node.js you want to download, either the latest version or a specific version. Choose the appropriate installer for your operating system. So, if I'm using a Mac, run the downloader, and then complete the installation process. And then you're going to have Node on your computer. All right. You're going to get NPM, and you're going to want NPM because NPM is going to download coding libraries and coding packages for us, which are fantastic because then the coding libraries can then make our code even better. Just more tools so we don't have to build out all this code and error handling step by step because nobody does that in the real world. Now, lastly, what about Visual Studio Code? What's Visual Studio Code? Well, if I go to my terminal and I get out of Node, so I'm going to escape Node over here. I'm going to clear it up so you can see. If I type in code, what happens? Well, I open up this new program. What is this program? This is called Visual Studio Code. I could also have opened it by going into my Spotlight and typing in Visual Studio Code, and it would have opened up Visual Studio Code. Now, this is an application where we can write code. Like if I take a look here and I see something, I open a file and we see all this. What is all this? This is all code. This is what we're going to be doing. All right. Now we're not going to be doing this because this looks like, because this doesn't look very nice. But what this does, this application essentially, is that it allows us to write code with IntelliSense. All right. All that means is that we can organize our code, write better code for our applications. It's a text editor. It's literally like Microsoft Word or like Pages or whatever, but made for writing code. So you could have, of course, gone back to ChatGPT and said, ChatGPT, what is Visual Studio Code? You could also go to Google and you could say, what is Visual Studio Code in Google? And you're going to see the website, code.visualstudiocode.com. And then this will take you to the website. And this is just one text editor. There are many you could use. I love this one, so I would recommend using this for this course. All right. So go ahead and download Visual Studio Code. You can see you can download it right there. All you have to go to is code.visualstudio. Can I spell that? Yeah. .com. Takes you there. Download it, follow the instructions, open it up, and that's it. That's all we need to build our application. Once you have Node, you're going to have NPM with that. And then with that, we're going to need the text editor, and then we're good to go. That's all you need. That and our best friend ChatGPT. So let's stop there. Great work. Make sure you have Node installed. Make sure you have Visual Studio Code. Now, to get Visual Studio Code to open with code dot, you're going to have to actually go into VS Code. Oops. Here, let me open it up over here. Visual Studio Code, you're going to want to hit Command-Shift-P. And when you do that, you're going to want to type in here shell command install code. I already did that, so I'm not going to. But that's just a shortcut in order to open it. You don't need to do that. That's just a shortcut to open it with the terminal. You can still, of course, just open it on your desktop and just open it up like that. All right. Just some tips, because when you take a course, you expect to get some tips and understanding as to why. And hopefully you're finding this very valuable to understand why and how to use ChatGPT for yourself. Working with me, working with ChatGPT and the internet. Okay, see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.